Rebecca Morell, BBC News, Glasgow.
Well, Friday is Youth Empowerment Day at COP26, and young people participating in the conference have highlighted that more needs to be done to ensure the voices of the youth across the world are taken seriously. The leading activist Greta Thunberg is expected to take to the streets of Glasgow to demand action on climate change from leaders and politicians. She's criticised the summit so far, tweeting that COP26 has been named the most excluding COP ever. This is no longer a climate conference, this is a global North Greenwash Festival, a 2-week celebration of business as usual and blah blah blah, a phrase she often uses to highlight politicians' willingness to talk but failure to act. Well, joining me now is Jimena Ojeda Ramirez, an activist and environmental scientist from Peru. She's currently working on organic agriculture and as an environmental educator. Ms. Ramirez, very good to see you. Thank you very much for being with us. World leaders have had their 2 days. Do you think they've done enough? Do you think they've listened to the voices of young people?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Mr. Preston. Pleasure to be here. As for your question, I think, it is hard not to be on Greta's side when she says there's a lot of blah, 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 and we've been here before. I think there are some very good ideas. I think the willing is there. However, the only way that it's going to work is if we all work together, just governments, private sector, civil society, all hands are needed. And without our leaders, there's not much that we can achieve. And the goals that have been set are ambitious and we need them to get there. There's just no other way.
There's this phrase that's been used, youth washing, which is a way of describing politicians acting like they're listening to young people, acting like they care, but not necessarily actually taking action. Do you agree with that analysis?
Well, yeah, it's something that we see a lot, just bring youth, put them in the picture, give them a seat, let them speak. And I've lived this, many of my colleagues live this a lot. And I think it really depends on where you're at. It really depends where you're sitting and where there are some places that we are heard. Thankfully, my organization is one of them. I'm from the organization of the Scout Movement. And however, I do think when it comes to government and politicians, it is not the case. I'm afraid that I wouldn't put it any other way.
You're a member of the Youth Eco Zone in Peru. What are some of the particular climate change concerns in your home country?
Well, we, as you know, have large percentage of the Amazon here and a huge biodiversity, but there is just so much illegal, deforestation, illegal mining, and all the things affect greatly to our climate. We lived not too long ago, if I remember correctly, in May, we had a thunderstorm in Lima. That does not happen ever here. So we are living it, we're seeing it. We have the droughts, we have, mudsliding from the huge big rains that are not common out either. And our currents in our sea level rise is just going insane. So I think we have all the resources that we need. We are a country that is very rich in resources and we are draining them, and it's horrible. But I hope the willing that has been presented by our delegation over there in COP and by our previous environmental ministers have some sort of impact, and we start to get better.
And on the bigger global scale, what element of climate change concerns you the most, and do you think enough is being done to tackle it?
Well, that's a tough one. I think, just one of the big ones to me, sea level rising, is just we're going to see cities disappear. I've lived in the United States before. I've seen the change over the years. It's so noticeable, and that worries me a lot. Ocean acidification is just coming to levels that we've never seen before. The ecosystems there are just being destroyed, and I do not think we're doing enough. It's rough when we talk about fossil fuels and stuff, because everything that we use today, the technology, the laptop that are connected to talk to you, it came from it. But were there ways to, restore and mend everything that we're doing, we're definitely not doing enough. And it's been proven, the IPCC has proven that if we continue this way, we're just not going to make it. We're not going to stay at below 1.5. It's just not going to happen. So we definitely need to do more. And this is where the big ones, the big private ones, the big governments need to step up.
Okay, Jimena Ojeda Ramirez joining us from Lima, Peru. Thank you very much for coming on the program. Nice to see you.
Of course. Thank you.